大家好, kumusta? My name is Victor. In today's video, we're going to be talking about these two budget Cine lenses that are very on par with each other. It's almost the same price point. First up on a matchup is your 7Artisans 35mm T1.05 Vision Cine lens. And on the other side of the ring, we have the Sirui 35mm T1.2 Nightwalkers. I was going to compare both sets, but I only have the 35mm from 7Artisans, and that I can only compare the two focal lengths. Now for this one, if you want to see my full review of the set, it's going to be in one of the corners on the screen. I'm actually not sure about the color consistency of the Vision set, so feel free to refer to other reviewers for that. 7Artisans actually is a little bit warmer. Here's a few samples, but overall, I think I'm liking the Nightwalkers for the color accuracy. I think Sirui wins this round because of its almost neutral color. Here it is compared to the Sigma one, which I find more neutral and a little bit more on the magenta side. What I've also noticed was that the Sirui is actually wider than the 7Artisans one. Now, I'm quite not sure which one is the true 35mm, but I think wider is a little bit better, but I'm not going to give any points to the Sirui one. The Sirui one claims that it has minimal focus breathing, which is true, especially compared to the 7Artisans. As you can see in this test, the 7Artisans actually have visible focus breathing. It pulls the image back and forth, versus the Sirui is a lot more cleaner and it's a little less distracting. Now let's talk about the Chromatic Aberration, and at wide open, the performance is quite surprising. Now you might think that the 7Artisans is going to lose this category because it opens up all the way at T1.05, but at T1.2, the Sirui loses this category. Now if you like Chromatic Aberrations as the character of the lens, this is going to be great for you, but if you want something more contained, the 7Artisans is going to win you in this category. Now let's talk about sharpness, and both lenses have a point where they have complete sharpness in the overall image. Now comparing their performance in terms of the widest T-stop, the 7Artisans one is actually sharper than the Sirui even at T1.2. Now I've tested it up by closing the T-stop down to T2, and the 7Artisans is still noticeably sharper than the Sirui. The Sirui Nightwalkers fix itself at T4 so that you have the overall sharpness, especially in the corners, a little bit better. But comparing both, if you want those sharpness in the corners, the 7Artisans wins in this category. Now if you really want to keep the imperfections or the character of the lens, the Sirui one is going to do you better because the 7Artisans one is just a little bit cleaner in terms of sharpness. Now let's talk about flaring. During my testing, I just blasted that Fresnel to these lenses, and I think the 7Artisans kind of loses this because it's more prone to flaring, and the flaring on the Sirui Nightwalker is a lot more controlled. Now let's talk about the bokeh performance, and the bokeh on the Sirui has more character because of that chromatic aberration. I actually prefer it than a cleaner bokeh background. But I think overall, despite the character, despite the chromatic aberration present on the Sirui, I actually think I prefer the Sirui ones better than the 7Artisans. So let's talk about build quality, and these two lenses have very identical height. And so far, I think that I prefer the Sirui Nightwalkers because I travel more, and that this is heavier and heftier. This is a little bit bigger than the Sirui Nightwalkers, and that it just feels like a solid Cine lens. Now I'm thinking that the quality of the metal is just heavier, and this is more of a lightweight material, but overall the Sirui still feels solid because it's an all metal construction. The 35mm Vision set from the 7Artisans has an 82mm filter head, and that the Sirui only has 67. One thing that I don't like about the Sirui Nightwalkers is the dampening of the focus gear. This one is a lot smoother and it has a longer throw compared to the Sirui one, which is quite easy to move, and that if you're at 55mm, it might be harder to focus at T1.2. But I think if you practice and get used to the focus gear on the Sirui, I think you're going to be okay in terms of pulling focus. Now, in terms of the iris gear, they're very similar. And I feel like with both lenses, I'm not going to accidentally change the iris, especially on those run and gun shoots. Now let's talk about pricing. The 7Artisans is priced at $499 USD, and that the Sirui on their Indiegogo campaign is only at $309. And if you do miss that sale price, this will be at $349. So this is still cheaper than the 7Artisans one, and that overall, I think the Sirui wins this matchup. The Sirui also comes with two colors, one in black and this awesome metal gray, gunmetal gray, and that it fits the Sony FX30, FX3 if you want to put it on full frame. And this is actually the pre-production model. As you can see, it says sample only, and that I don't know if they have updated the little quirks that I found with this lens. Sure would hope so. Still great character that these lenses provide. This is a really good contender, but if you are saving a little over $100, might as well get the Sirui Nightwalkers and get more value for your money compared to the 7Artisans Cine lenses. Now, all the quirks that we found on these two lenses are easily avoidable. You can easily fix them in post as well, especially the color cast. It's not hard to make these lenses look amazing in post. And that's it. I just wanted this video to be quick and concise so that you know the difference between the two, especially in my studio testing. But hopefully it did shine a light on which lenses you want to go for, especially if you're starting out with your first Cine lens set. And as usual, I'm giving away my Sunset Film Lug Pack, and all you have to do to win is comment down below which lens set would you pick, the Sirui Nightwalkers or the 7Artisans Vision set. If you want to know how to make a fashion commercial, click on this video right here, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.
너와 나